Hi, I'm Georgia Watson, and I've been with Empower Network for 4 months now. And that was after looking on the internet for the right opportunity for me for about a year. But before I tell you about that, what I'd like to do is tell you my story. I grew up in Northern California in a little town that was a perfect place to grow up for kids. And I went to college to become a teacher, which had always been my lifelong dream. After college, I came back to California and met the love of my life, my husband Chris, and he had just returned from Vietnam. He finished his education, and after he went to Vietnam and then was looking for a direction. He didn't really know what he wanted to do. He was an art major in college, and so he wanted to find something where he could help people also. He really liked that, and he had met a chiropractor and decided to go into chiropractic school. So that's what we did. We headed off to Iowa for the next 4 years, and we struggled. We struggled a lot. As a teacher, I made, I think, just a little over $500 a month, and I got paid once a month. So there were months where at the end of the month we didn't have any money for a week, and it was really a struggle for us. But we had a vision, we had hope, we had dreams. So it really wasn't that bad because we knew that this was temporary and this is what we needed to do to get to the next phase of our life. So anyway, he graduated from school and we headed back to California. He set up his practice, and I worked with him until I had my children. I had twin girls, and then 3.5 years later, I had another daughter. His practice just kept growing, and he had a very, very successful practice. I was able to stay home to raise my girls, and everything was great. We had a beautiful home in a little town in Silicon Valley, and we just had a beautiful house, 2 new cars in the garage. We were able to give our girls all the extras that they needed, and we just thought life was great. We didn't think it would ever change, but were we wrong? So as life went on, the girls were about let's see, they were probably just the oldest were in high school, and we started seeing changes in the healthcare. In Silicon Valley, we have, Facebook and Apple and Google and the big companies, the big hitters, and they got together with the insurance companies, and through these HMOs and PPOs created these great contracts for them and for their employees, but not so good for the healthcare providers, especially the chiropractors. So we started making less per patient, but that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that the paperwork involved was just overwhelming to my husband. He was a great chiropractor. He loved being with the patients. He was great at his techniques, but he hated paperwork. So this became like a noose around his neck, and his desk was always covered with paperwork that he couldn't get to. I'm sure he lost money just because he probably didn't get all the paperwork in that he was supposed to, and it really became a downer for him. So he had been using a hardware, he had been developing kind of on his own a software, had some ideas for a software for this medical hardware device, and that chiropractors and physical therapists and such would use. And so he decided to start a company. And he had a partner, and they started this company with their programmer, and everything was going along great. He went down to a part-time practice, and we just thought this was going to happen. Well, then the economy tanked, and the stock market tanked. We lost money in the stock market. Investors who had promised to invest weren't going to invest anymore, and they were so far into it, they had already had some investors invest, and they couldn't get the funding they needed. So we sold our house and used all our money to invest into this company. It was probably a very stupid thing to do, but at the time we really believed in it, and we thought it was a great product, and we thought it would go. So we went from being on top of the world to just feeling like we were drowning, and every day it became harder and harder to sleep. We just didn't know how we were going to get out of this. We ended up selling our house. We at a bad time to sell. We with our profits, we had to pay off debt. We still had a huge amount of debt left. We not only did we lose our beautiful house, but we had to move into a tiny rental, and we couldn't even move into the town we lived in because it was too expensive. So we had to move 2 towns away. And it was just depressing. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating, especially to our kids. It was really, really, we had always taught them hard work and good ethics and everything like that. And then when that happened to us, it was like, what happened? How did this happen? We always have taken responsibility for what happens to us, but how did this happen? How did we let this happen? And it was really, really hard. Now we had young adult daughters who we felt were looking at us like, what happened to you? What happened? And there were days where I just couldn't get out of bed in the morning. It was really, really tough. I didn't see any way out. I never, my whole life had been my daughter's. I hadn't worked. I wasn't really up to date on to become a teacher again. My husband was, just struggling to make ends meet at that point and to build his practice back up, and I just didn't know what we were going to do. So I was looking and looking, and I'm a tutor, and so I tutor part-time, but it wasn't enough. And I really could not see retirement in our future. Even though we both love what we're doing right now, we would have to be doing it forever. And I just couldn't see any way we could ever retire. So I started thinking, what could I do? What can I do to help out? And if I went to a job, it would be probably $15 an hour, and that wouldn't be enough to make, to do anything. And if anything happened to my husband and he, physically couldn't do his practice, it would just devastate us. We didn't have anything to fall back on anymore. So we went from being on top of the world to be at the lowest bottom that we could feel. So I started looking on the internet, and I came across a lot of opportunities, and I just didn't feel, even though some products were good and the opportunity seemed good, it just didn't feel right for me. I would really have to believe in something before I could sell it. So after about a year of looking, I was on Facebook one day, and I just happened to look at the side ad, and something caught my eye. And I don't even remember what it said, but whatever it was, it caught my eye. So I looked into it, and I, researched the company a little bit, and I thought, I'm going to do this. It was only $25. I could quit if I didn't like it, and I just really felt like I wanted to try this. So I did, and I didn't even tell my husband at first because I didn't want him to think it was just this fly-by-night thing that I was doing. And once I got into the back office and saw everything that was there for me and how easy it would be for someone like me who had never done anything on the internet except for emailing and Facebook and that type of thing, how easy it would be for me to get started with my technically challenged abilities. And also the mentorship. I mean, there are leaders who are making, my sponsor is making well over $100,000 a month, not a year, a month, and other leaders on our team who are making well over $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, even $60,000 a month. And I thought, I need to be surrounding myself with people like this. Their vision, their goals, the founders, their vision was just right in line with what I believed in. And what I really liked also is they said, before you even get started, the first thing you need to do every day is read motivational books and listen to motivational audios. And I did. I listened to them. I thought, what's happening now isn't working for me, so I'm going to do what they say. So I did that. And I got the trainings, and I listened to the trainings. I watched the webinars every day. At the beginning, it was so confusing to me. I thought, will I ever get this? And I have to say, after 4 months, I am so excited to be in alignment with this company and connected to this company. I have learned so much. I have so much more to learn. I am getting leads. I'm building my list. I've gotten sales, and I am just thrilled and with the possibilities that this business can hold for me, it's really an opportunity to make your life work for you. So if you want to join me, I would love to help you and be with you on my team to grow together and reach our goals. And I don't think you will ever look back if you join. So click the link below, join today. You can always quit if it's not your thing, and there's no contracts or anything. It's only $25. So I would take the leap, take the chance. It will be the best thing you can ever do for yourself. So see you on